All right. Take the echo off. There we go. Okay. All right. Hey, welcome to everybody out there. This is Amateur Radio Roundtable, a show about ham radio, amateur radio, shortwave listening, experimenting, electronics, you name it. We kind of mix it all up here tonight. And hey, I want to say hello to my friend Jeff Powell over in Tuckasegee, North Carolina. I'm looking over on our Facebook stream, and Jeff is in there. He said hello, KM4QBC. Hello to Jeff over in North Carolina. All right, hey, guys, if you're listening out there on WBCQ International Shortwave Radio, you're actually listening to us on Thursday evening from 5 to 7 p.m. on 7490 on WBCQ out of Monticello, Maine. So we've got a 2-hour time slot there on shortwave radio. And hey, if you're listening to us and you're hearing us, send us an email and tell us where in the world you are and how you're hearing the station. And my email address is just tom@w5kub.com. tom@w5kub.com. And if you want to join us live, our show is on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Just go to w5kub.com and you can watch the show, and you can jump in a chat room, and you can talk directly with Brett and Glenn and myself here during the show, ask questions. Hopefully we're going to open the phone lines tonight, and it would be cool if someone listening out there on shortwave gives us a call. I'll have to remember, maybe Glenn or Brett can remind me, if we do open phone lines, I need to announce the number instead of just posting it on the screen, because if you're listening on radio, of course, you're not going to see the number. So we'll try to announce the phone number, and you can call in. We have phone numbers. I think, phone numbers in 65 countries that you can call into, so it won't cost you anything there. Hey, if you will, hit the subscribe button if you're watching there on YouTube. We actually have expanded our show. We're on Twitter.com. We're on Twitch TV right now. We're on YouTube, and we're on Facebook. We're on all those social medias right now. If you see a subscribe button over there, and that will help us to, it'll give our rankings a little bit better, and it'll help us here. So I'm going to help you out. I'm giving you a hint where that subscribe button will be if it is there. So if you will, hit that subscribe button. So I've already mentioned we're on WBCQ, Worldwide International Shortwave. We're also on every podcast carrier out there, from iNet Radio to Google Play to iHeart. We're on all of them out there, Spotify, so you can always find us out there. And if you're listening on one of those, send us an email, tom@w5kub, and say hello. We'd love to know that you're just listening out there on one of the podcasts. All right, so let's see, what else is going on here? I think I've got most of the announcements out. So I've got a mystery item I want to bring up to you guys. Let me go full screen here. All right, now Brett, you and Glenn, if you know the answer, don't say it out loud right now. But I want people in a chat room, if you will, tell me what this is. And I'm looking for the common name of it. Okay, does anybody know what this is?
Yeah, that's a landing gear.
Be quite careful. Not supposed to.
It's a landing gear strut off a P-38.
It's a landing strut off a 747. You shouldn't have said that, but all right, there's one end, guys. You can see the end right there, and if you come down toward the center, you can see there's a little hole right there in the center. Right there, a hole in the center, and then down at the other end, it's flattened out and got a hole right there in the slot. So if anybody in the chat room knows what this is, be thinking about it. I'm going to ask the question in a little while, and then when I ask the question, everybody can input what it is into the chat room, and I'm going to see if you know what this is. Pickle fork, yeah, okay. If you know what this is, you're going to start that in October. But tonight you just get 5 merits, okay, if you know what this is. So there it is, guys. There it is. Okay, we'll come back to that in just a little while. Let's jump around the room here and see what's going on with everybody. Let's start with Glenn. Glenn, are you writing that book yet?
Which one?
I don't know. Oh, I got something for Glenn here. Look at this, guys. Let me see if I got it right here. I should have it here. Oh, man.
Uh-oh, what do you got for me now?
Oh, boy. Well, let me see if I can find it. Well, my things are so small here. Let's see. Well, probably going to have to come back and I'll probably find it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Heck, I got so many pictures loaded. I don't know where it is. It'll show up. It'll show up during the show. All right. So you're working on your book?
Well, yes and no. I'm not really at liberty to talk on a couple things. I can tell you during the break.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of other projects that just kicked off yesterday, and it's going to be fun. That's all I can say at this point. Are you aware of? When was the last time you talked to Rich Boseson from CQ?
I haven't talked to him in quite a while.
Okay.
I know nothing is going on right now.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure I'm at liberty to talk about it, but let's just say that Rich and I have been talking to each other about some various things that he's involved with, and really looks to be a lot of fun going forward. And I can fill you in on a break or something, but yeah, I've been emailing back and forth with him most of the week. I was supposed to have a conference call with my ARRL editor, Mark Dirks, sometime this week to discuss future projects. Last word, they want about 3 books. So that's kind of where it is. I'm starting to ramp up. The floor, as you notice, is somewhat clean. I have got it organized to future projects and everything. So I'm actually going to be starting to write and get stuff going here probably by the end of the week.
All right. Well, great.
So,
You just got to get an antenna up before winter.
I found my box of antennas, but I'm not sure it's the one that has the end fed that I'm looking for. So I have to dig it up.
All right. Worst case, a long wire and a tuner in the shack.
I found my 2040 dipole this afternoon, but I'm pretty sure I found everything. I just need to actually get it up in the air.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So I'm digging. I'm getting there. There was 125 boxes to unpack, and they are now all unpacked. And now it's just a matter of sorting through the mountain of debris.
All right. Well, keep us posted on it.
And I thought getting this Windows 11 system online was more important. So
I think it probably helped you a whole lot.
So you'd stop yelling at me. I'm tired of getting demerits for Windows 7.
Yeah. I mean, you look 5 years younger.
Well, this is a light that I picked up at which Hamfest was that?
I don't know.
Believe it was Huntsville or Nashville that I picked this. I got a new lighting system that I picked up at Nashville for a couple bucks.
All right.
So.
All right. Well, let's jump over. Brett, what have you been doing, man? Been a week since we've talked.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. I've been working a little more on the ESP32, and getting the all the development software up there, looking at sample code, trying to figure out how I'm going to mount this thing. I've got my project is going to be a unique sort of a CW key. And so I'm going to be using the touch sensors on this thing. But I'm trying to figure out, I've got it, I'm mostly, right now I've stuck it into a prototyping board and I've gotten it to start running. But obviously I don't want to keep doing that. And the pins on it, which are DIPS package size pins, aren't big enough for me to really do wire wrap to them, and so I'm trying to figure out, do I put them in wire wrap sockets and maybe bend the pins outwards and wire wrap to them and then hot glue the whole thing down? What can I do that's not too much of a kludge? I'm interested in any suggestions.
That's I recall now. That's what I did. I put a single pin, or not the pin, but the female part of the pin.
Okay.
I put that on a single wire. In fact, I think I had a whole bunch of just individual wires with the single on the end of it. I think you can buy them like that. And I just slid them on each one of those pins. So yeah, I did slide the little connector on there, and those little connectors had heat shrink around them. So you might look checking. You could probably get you some of those off eBay.
Yeah, I might be able to get some little teeny tiny wire wrap jumpers.
Well, here's what I use. I use the SIP headers and plug it into the prototype board. Then I use that as a socket, and then I solder to the leads of the SIP header.
Oh, you know what?
On the bottom of the proto board.
More is coming back. More is coming back. I may have used like a 5-pin or a 6-pin, little plug that fits those. You know what I'm talking about, Glenn? Is that what you're mentioning?
No, I use the SIP headers. You can get them in like 40 pin plus links or whatever, 128 pin.
Yeah,
and then you cut them down to size.
Right.
And use those as a socket. Just put a SIP header on each side in the proto board, plug it in, and then flip the board over, solder the SIP header.
But what do you plug onto those headers? How do you plug onto the headers?
I don't. I solder wires point to point on the bottom side of the proto board.
Okay. All right.
If I need a socket, I will either use a SIP header or a real socket of some kind.
Well, I've got a little box of different connectors, whether they're pins or the headers, or I call it the plug, the socket, and they're the right spacing. They're the same spacing as the headers,
Yeah.
And I think that Brett, I may have used. I had some like 5-pin header sockets, and they just slid right on there, And then maybe there was 1 or 2 pins I didn't need to connect to. I just didn't connect to them, and then I might have put an individual pin, just slide it on by itself.
Yep. Well, that's one thing I'm working on. I also have a few wire wrap dip sockets around that are, for various size dips, and none of them have as many pins as the module does. But I figured that maybe what I can do is break them in two, and use a couple of them as sockets for the ESP32 module that I have here.
Yeah, and here's what I use for cable connectors and what you're talking about, Tom.
Yeah.
I use the DuPont socket version.
Yeah.
Of those headers.
See, those are perfect there, Brett. Get you should have a whole.
Yeah, I got a whole
bucket of those. Take those, cut the plug off one end, and on the end it's got the plug. To slide that plug on your ESP32, and that probably.
Yeah, I don't have anything in here open, but I can show you next week.
Okay.
Like this is the Nokia display, and those sockets are plugged in, or the pins are plugged into a socket made out of those SIP headers on the prototyping board.
Okay.
And that way, I can reuse the chip anywhere I want to, and the only thing I've lost is some SIP headers and a prototyping board.
All right. We've got a few people who have joined us since we showed this. I'm going to throw it out here again, guys. This is a mystery for tonight. Don't tell me if you know what this is. Don't say it yet. But you can see what it is here. I'm going to show it to you. Hold it like that. Here we go. Try to get you a good close-up of it. Get you a good close-up there. If anybody knows what this is, we'll ask in a few minutes. This is a mystery for tonight. You guys can tell me what this is. All right. Okay. W5DPH says YouTube feed is sort of choppy tonight. Hey, check out Twitter. Go to X and just type in W5KUB on X and see if that's any better. I don't know. It might be. Okay, well, very good. All right, well, hey, we got several things tonight I want to talk about. Um, yeah, hey, tonight, I told you last week I was going to show you a 220 Yagi that we built, and it turned out really good. And man, I can sit here in the shack with it and aim it and point it, and it does wonders. I think the thing is well worth it and very easy to build, and we're going to show that in just a minute. So let's see. We're going to talk about that. I had some boards made in China. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But man, you just send them the files, Glenn. Send them the Gerber files and all the specs and the part numbers, and man, they'll just build this board for you, and they'll put the parts on there for you. And they're building these trackers here for $6. That includes all the parts. Hey, this has got GPS on it. It's got everything on it.
Good grief!
They will, if you got to send the right files so they can build a board, and then all the other files, the CSV files. But once you do that, they will build the boards. You can specify your board and everything. We got a very thin board here. You can see. They put all the parts. They got all the parts in stock, and $6 total to actually build this entire board here.
Doggone it!
When I was building these, and this is another tracker here. This is the tracker I build, basically, and this is a break off here. But the parts are so little here. I was building these, and it was very discouraging. And I almost quit several times. Printed Board Shop, they will actually build this board and put all the parts on here for about $12. So $12 is a lot better than me trying to build one.
Oh, amen. Yeah.
Yeah. So back to while we're on the subject, the tracker here. Let me talk a little about this while I brought it up. This has got the GPS on it. It's got the SI5351 right here. That's the transmitter, and it's really laid out well. This is another a person's design, and he's providing the information. If you want your own made, you can just send in the files and make them. They knocked us out in about 3 days at what is it? PCB, that's a printed circuit board company in China. They knocked it out in about 3 days, and then on Friday they sent it to DHL, and it was in Memphis yesterday, Monday. I didn't get it until today, but it's got the GPS on it. It's got the transmitter, and your solar hooks here, plus and minus. Down here we've got this is the antenna, and this has got a balanced output. We're talking about the ones I fly, we have a single output. This one has 2 outputs 180 degrees out of phase, so one leg would go here and one leg would go there. And then the GPS antenna, all the GPS antenna has to be is a little 2-inch piece of wire like this right here. That's the entire GPS antenna, and that will solder on the bottom of the board right there. It has to be a 2-inch.
It's nice the way they trim that epoxy board for minimum weight.
And then the only other thing is the reason I wanted to play with these, I program mine here with the Arduino files and everything, and I know very little about it. We got the expert on Arduino in here, but anyway, this is the one I've been flying for years now. We've got it pretty much perfected. So I want to try this one out. This one is not the Arduino 328P. This one uses a Raspberry Pi Pico. And here's the Raspberry Pi Pico. It's got a USB port. The Raspberry Pi Pico costs $4. So when you put this together, this tracker costs $10 to complete it. $10. And the way it's made is, I wish you could see better the pads on here, Glenn. I can't get a very good close up. and focus it, but these
Yeah, they're scalloped
these
pads.
pads here have little moon-shaped curves in them on the edges, right there. And this board is made where it will fit right on top of it like this. Fit right on top of it. And then you can see the top board here, the top board contacts and the bottom board contacts. They line up. They line up where they solder together. There's a little overlap about that much. On the other side, you got a little bit of a overlap where you can get a soldering iron in there, and that becomes the tracker. The nice thing about this one is it's programmed by, via just a USB cable off your computer, and it's very simple to set the call letters and the time slot you want to use, and then all you do is grab a file. Well, first of all, just to load the software, you just grab a file on a computer and you drag it over to this thing. This thing looks like a hard drive or a thumb drive, and that's all you do to load it. And then you just go in. Then you can go into a web page, and you can actually put your call letters in, the time slot you want, and the frequency band, and it will actually program that in here. So it's real easy to program, I think. So that's coming up. That's the project going to be coming up. I'll probably launch maybe that one probably in October, probably late October. Let me show you some pictures, maybe a little bit better pictures of it, how it looks. Can you program it out there cloud? I don't think so. It's pretty proprietary system right now, Brett. Nobody has reversed engineered or anything, and I'm not even wanting to do that. But I just did want to fly it. By the way, this tracker weighs, when that's put together, this tracker weighs in at 5.5 grams. That's all. My tracker here weighs, when you break this programming side off here, my tracker weighs 1.7 grams. 1.7 grams. This one weighs about 5.5 grams. So you can see the difference in size there. But still, this will fly good. It'll fly probably about 2,000 feet lower than mine, just because of the weight. So we're gonna play with it and try some new things. Let me show you some pictures here real quick of it. So that's the two boards right there. And Glenn, maybe you can see this better. Look at the you
got the little scalloping there.
Yeah, they got that little curve notched in there, and you just solder right there, just like they do on the GPS module that we always installed.
Yeah.
But this is much simpler, much easier.
Well, now here's my next question.
Yeah.
The PyPico is natively Python.
Yep.
So are they programming this thing in Python, C++, or using Arduino? Or do you know what language they're writing?
Sure, join our show tonight, Bill. If you've got the link, if you look at my old emails, you've got the link to the show to come in as a co-host. If you want to come in, Bill, join us and talk about it. Bill says, I believe you can download the Raspberry Pi program file and program it from your computer.
I'm going to bet it's Python.
What little bit I know is there's a file. I forget the format. It's a funny format, but anyway, it's this thing. Once you plug this in, it comes up like a thumb drive, and all you do is drag this file over to this drive, and then the drive goes away. I don't know why, but the drive goes away, and once it goes away, it's programmed basically. I mean, you've got the operating system or whatever it is, on it. It's probably not a real operating system. You actually have to program, and there's a website that you can look at, and everything is channelized. There's like 350 channels you can select from. Once you click on it, it's going to tell you, what your secondary transmission is going to look like. We talked earlier like Q5, Q7, or so forth. Anyway, so there's only three things from the screen that we have to program. That's your call letters, I think your time slot maybe, and that really there's not much anything else in there. So there it is right there. I'll tell you what. Let's do. Let's get Bill in here real quick. I'm gonna do this. Phone line.
Run, Bill. Run.
Bill, you see that phone number right there, Bill? You need to call in, Bill. And call in, Bill, to that number. Let me bring the phone system up. Guys, our phone system can take 1,000 simultaneous calls. We've never stressed it that much. And what's going on here? Join. Let's see if I can get this thing to work. Oh, man. Why does everything not want to work right when you want to use it? Okay, so we're bringing the phone system up. This is not good.
Yeah, John, I think the Sidewinders run about $500,000 or something on that order. I don't remember. So yeah, we can build them for 6 and they shoot them down for $500,000.
All right, we're not going to do the phone tonight. I don't know. I don't want to mess the show up by trying to figure out the phone. It appears that Microsoft or somebody has removed all the logins to the phone system, and I'll have to try to figure it out again. Anyway, we're not going to do that tonight. So let's see. Okay. All right. So back to the this tracker is called the Traquito, Traquito. It's public domain out there. If you're interested in wanting to build one of these, just do a search for Traquito, Traquito, and that'll take you to pages where you can pull up all the information you need from ordering and having boards made to programming it and so forth. All right, so let's see, where was I? Let's just move on here.
Well, you talked to me and you showed that, so I think it's Brett's turn to talk.
P32 and what he was doing?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about HF this week, which has been wild. The sun is getting extremely active.
All right, hang on. Let me finish this, and then we'll talk about that. Hang on.
Oh, sure. Okay.
All right, so there's the board, guys, a close-up of the board. There's what the board looks like again. They've got a little, I had these strips made also to mount solar cells on. And let me show you what we got in the box here. Let's see. Bam. Let me pull it up here. Here we go. So here's the trackers. That's how they came.
Looks like a box of miniature Klingon warships.
Yeah, doesn't it though? There's the trackers, and here we had the strips made that will actually solder into the solar cells to hold them. I don't know if that's going to work very well for us or not, but we're gonna see if that does work. So okay, so there's those little long strips right there where they put the solar panels on it. It's supposed to hold it. There's another shot of mounting the panels on that strip. There's the back side. They just mount the track. The little metal USB connector to mount that. What they do, they just solder that USB connector right on the back of that circuit board right there to hold the solar cells on. So that's kind of what it looks like there once it's all together. Looks like the cells are around 5.9. It looks like the cells and the board is going to come in. It's going to come in about 11.3. That looks like, well, there's going to be a little bit more weight to it. Round that off to at least 12 grams. And the little tracker I just showed you that we've been flying, comes in at 7.8 grams, all complete, just like this. This is going to come in at 11. So it's going to fly probably a little bit lower. There they are. They are holding it. I'm holding it in the hand. You can see the two boards there. There's the Raspberry Pi Pico.
Bill says that he tried those solar cell strips, but they're heavier than using the wire tabs.
Oh, really? Yeah, I got them just to see what they were about, and I don't know that I will use them or not. Probably not, but it cost almost nothing to have them made there. All right, so okay, so that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. We'll probably try to get a flight out probably about mid-November on that. Okay, hey, just before we go to Brett, let's see. Okay, here's the mystery again. Here's the mystery again right here. You guys, it's time to put in a chat room what this is. Put in a chat room what it is. It looks like it's made out of aluminum. It's hollow. This tubing. Got a hole in the center. It's flattened. Got a hole in each end. Can you tell me what it is? Okay, it's time to put in the chat room what it is. All right, and while we're hey, and thanks, Bill. I've got that written in my notes here. Doug is the one that has designed this KD2KDD from Hoboken, New Jersey. He's the one that's doing all the hard work, and he's really got a nice website up that tells you everything you need to know about that tracker. All right, let's see what there is. Some of the TV antennas, but it's not exactly.
I think I saw that in my dentist's office, but I don't remember the name.
I kind of think this is what they poked down my tooth yesterday when they drilled it out.
Exactly.
It felt like that. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Anybody else got any ideas?
Gosh, I've seen
Cattle prod.
that.
It could be used the cattle prod. Okay.
I've seen that, and I can't quite picture it.
Okay, I will tell you what this is. Now, you guys knew I basically grew up. Let me bring up Let me bring up this right here, and I'm going to show you what this is basically. So, okay. So, do you guys remember? I guess if you were close enough, even we lived 50 miles from Memphis. 50 miles was not too far for the TV stations. We got 3 stations back then, actually 4, if you count PBS, but nobody watched PBS. All right, and it was cool when he came up with a UHF channel. Man, then we had like 5 channels. Woo.
Yeah, we got the independent channel that played Gilligan's Island and Star Trek, and we were set for life.
Yeah. Well, guys, I can't draw this in 3D very easy, but there was a very popular antenna. See if you use this in your neighborhoods. Basically, it looked kind of like this. I'm going to try to draw it from the side view. It had a single element in the back, and it had a boom, and then up at the front it had 3. All right, it looked like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Never seen it.
All right, looking at it from the front, looking at the antenna from the front, the elements were like this. All right, the elements were like that, looking at it from the front. And of course, these are your VHF elements, and that's your UHF elements. And this is the end right here. You would point toward the TV station. This was a very popular antenna back in the 50s and 60s when I was growing up. And every single body had it. Yeah, I guess it's, well, is a, I think of a bow tie kind of like this. I kind of think of a bow tie like that. But anyway, this is the antenna here. Now, when you live far enough out of range of the TV station, it started getting weak, and you need a better antenna. You know, most of the people that I saw with antennas never had the the big yagi antennas up, and they're
That's all we did
they
have.
never had that. Everybody had these simple antennas here. So your 300 ohm hooks here and here, and came down. All right, now, so here's what this is, guys. This was called a stacking rod, and it came with every antenna. So let me put another antenna right here. And this rod right here, you notice that you got a hole here, you got a hole in the center, and a hole at the other end. This rod connected from here to here, and from here to here, and then the center holes there is where your 300 ohm twin lead would connect. So these were stacking rods. They typically weren't used in most cases, but one or two came. I guess two came with every antenna in every antenna box, and there were hundreds and hundreds. I wish I'd got hundreds of them, but I only have about 6 or 8 of these here now. But it's been 60 years, since 60 or 70 years, So anyway, they're called stacking rods, and you can see the point, the two antennas, of course, there. Okay, let's see. Let's see. What's going on in the chat room? See what anybody got it. Let's see. Okay, Bill WB8EOK said he had an antenna like that. He knows what we're talking about. James did too. Conical antenna? Maybe it's a conical. I don't know. I don't think it's a bow tie.
No, we all had the yagi.
Yeah, see, a yagi was, usually that was a much more expensive antenna, and for longer ranges, and maybe 40 miles out we didn't need a yagi. Where did you live, Lynn, when you had a yagi?
I was in Miami Lakes, and the transmitters were generally down in downtown Miami area, so probably about 30 miles away.
You were close then. You were close. Okay.
It's just everybody went with that standard yagi, whatever Radio Shack had at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, Brett's really called it. It was a log periodic style yagi.
Yeah, the log periodic is sort of like a yagi, but it gives up directionality for bandwidth.
Yeah, and some of them had these 2 wings on top and bottom that spread out that acted like reflectors and stuff for it. I mean, those were the really classy, expensive ones.
Okay, so that is the mystery. That is the mystery deal tonight.
Now the question is, Tom, what are you doing keeping that?
Well, as a ham, if you're a
Are you waiting for broadcast television to come back?
Well, let's just. This is going to be another segment. I'm not going to get into it, but let's just talk about. Let's just talk about what we can do with it. Let me get this right here.
Roger, I think you got it right. Tom's a hoarder.
Let's talk about what we can do with it. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're going to talk about that yagi a little later. Brett, talk to me about your what was it, HF you want to talk about?
Okay, yes, I wanted to talk about HF. Things have been wild with the sun this week, and if I can share my screen, I can show you the space weather and what's going on right now, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
Let's see, how do I activate screen sharing? It's telling me I can't.
Yeah, Tom needs to enable it again.
Wait a minute. I'm not sure. I think I share my screen. Oh boy, I don't want to do that.
No, you did.
Did I do you? Are you?
You shared your screen.
Oh, that's what I thought. All right. How do I get that off?
Stop sharing.
Yeah, you click the green and red bar near the top of the screen.
All right, I can't figure out where to turn it off now.
Oops.
No meeting schedule. Let's see. Share. Invite. What's this? Okay, wait a minute. Enable.
On the bottom, maybe you've got the share icon, and then you can click that and make it stop sharing
It's not
on the
there.
bottom of your Zoom screen.
Yeah. What Tim usually does is at the top of the screen you're sharing, they put a little green bar and a little red with a little red bar next to it, and the little red bar says stop sharing.
It may be different.
It's at the top now. It's at the top.
I was going to say, it may be
Hold on a
different
minute, wait a
since he's
minute.
not on Windows 7.
Ah,
No. Well, it's not cooperating tonight.
oops.
Let me see if I can do something here.
All right. On the bottom of your screen where you've got your audio and video participants, etc., don't you have a share button there?
I'll show you what I have on the bottom of my screen. Hang on, I'm going to show you exactly, and then you can help me. Here we go. Watch the screen.
On your Zoom screen.
Yep, yep. All right, you see the screen? You see it? See my mouse?
It's really tiny, but yes.
I'm looking for it. Usually down at the bottom, but it's not there. At the top, I've got meetings.
That's not a screen that I've got. Let's put it this way.
Well, you know, Zoom made me update a couple days ago, so
Why don't you click the More button and see if it's got a stop sharing thing there?
whiteboards clip. Oh, honestly, I think. Well, I've really messed up now.
Oops.
All right, hold on. To
Yeah.
your left, there's a button that says Share Screen.
Oh, right there. But
Click it.
yeah, I did. But is that me? That's me, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it may, if you're already sharing, it may flip you to stop sharing.
All right, we need a Zoom expert in the chat room. Come on, you guys can help us here. Let me see what's under.
Call me Dr. Zoom.
No. Oh,
No, that's he's obviously got a different screen since he's on the Pro version or whatever.
Right click
oh,
that.
there it is. Okay, I just clicked through a bunch of things. See across the bottom now. I've got them now.
Good, okay.
Share.
All right, hit the arrow next to the share, the up
Yeah.
arrow to the right of the share.
It says it's set up for one sharing right now.
One participant can share at a time.
Yep. So. Okay, so try it. It says it's allowing share. Brett, can you?
Oops.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you're still sharing, Tom. You have to stop sharing.
Okay. Okay. Why? You are okay. Now it popped up at the top. Where see right there that little button, that blue button that says stop sharing. Okay, it wasn't there a minute
There you
ago.
go.
It just now came up. Okay. All right. So Brett, you should be able to share.
Still not able to. It says host has disabled participant screen sharing.
Yes, that's a different menu option, Tom.
Right there. One participant can share at a time. See right there.
That's not the participant enabling.
It just said.
It's a separate menu choice.
All right. Participants. I can't do
It's
a share
not
there.
that option.
I always did it right here. Right there. The share button. I'll tell you what we're going to have to do. Brett,
Well, I'll describe it.
you're going to have to describe it in terms where everybody knows what we're listening to.
Okay. Well, if you go to spaceweatherlive.com, you can see the graph I'm going to be describing. First of all, the KP index, which was forecast, that's an index of solar activity, which was supposed to be kind of low this evening, has shot up to KP5. That's where you start to see northern lights farther south at lower latitudes. And they didn't predict that this was going to happen. And then if you take a look on that same page where it shows the magnetometer readings for different parts of the world, you'll see that right around midnight UTC, there was a big fluctuation in the Earth's magnetic field and the geomagnetic field, which is a result of suddenly getting a burst of solar wind. So this is the reason, I think, why a little earlier today HF propagation was first so weird and then so bad. Obviously, we're getting some solar activity that's hitting Earth. We're getting a lot of coronal mass ejections and similar activity these days, and it's just making it really dicey. You never, when you want to get on HF, you don't know whether the band conditions are going to be great or terrible from hour to hour. I suspect that's going to be the way it is over the next couple of days. I've been making some good contacts with FT8, and I've also had days when the whole is just hash there on the band scope, and you can't see anything. So, it's obviously the solar peak, and things are getting a little weird. So it's a lot of fun out there, and I've just been taking it an hour at a time.
And Tom, I've got your screen sharing solution.
What is it?
The up arrow next to share. Click it, then click advanced sharing option.
The up arrow right there. Advanced. Why do they put it there? Well,
And then all participants in the middle of the screen there.
all right. So what? It didn't used to be like that. It used to come right up when I'd click.
No, they deliberately move this stuff around
Yeah.
to keep you on your toes.
All right. Well, hey, I've noticed some funny band changes too, Brett, here recently. I mean, man, sometimes it's just hot and sometimes it's cold, man. I mean,
Switches today were pretty dramatic, and I was having a lot of. Yeah, now actually I can share this and show you.
yeah.
Here we go.
There we go.
So now I can show you. You can see here's the KP index, and it's up to KP5. Nobody was predicting that. Noah was saying it's going to be way low today, and it just jumped up there. The auroral oval they show, it's especially in the southern hemisphere, it's beginning to creep upward from the pole. Not so much in the northern hemisphere, but who knows, we might get some northern lights later tonight. And here where it says magnetometers, look at this glitch. This was not expected, and this caused some funny conditions again around just around midnight UTC going into September 25th. And this is what I was experiencing today. You can see that there was they have something called the Disturbance Storm Time Index, and they show that, wow, things really departed from what they expected. So we're living in interesting times in terms of the sun, and I think that's it's a lot of fun, but you need to be ready, because if you're trying to work DX, you never know whether it's going to be good or bad at this point.
Yeah. Now, if you watch your latest news clip there, scrolling by, a severe G4 geomagnetic storm, an X4 solar flare with a fast coronal mass ejection, so that could be what's triggering all your wacko stuff.
Yeah, those are mostly last week, but it's not over.
Yeah.
So anyway, here we go. Now we're back to not sharing the screen.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Thanks for that update. I need to get on HF. I hadn't been on. I got so many things I want to do. I had to go outside this morning. I had a off center fed antenna that the middle rope that holds the middle feed point had broken and it was laying out here in the yard. So I had to go out there this morning and put another rope over a limb.
Mm-hmm.
But wasn't too hard to do. But I've been wanting to go out there and probably replace some of my ropes and stuff. I just can't stir up the energy to get out there and do it. They've been up for probably 2 years, maybe 3 years, and the ropes are still holding, but I know they're getting kind of bad after that time. And the problem I get into a lot of times, the ropes grow into the tree, so you can't even let them up or down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the
I
problem.
started to use the same wire that I use for my antenna, which is copper-coated steel with with HDPE insulation over the top, as to suspend the antenna as well as as well as part of the antenna. Of course, there's an insulator in between it and the actual antenna element. But the wire tends to last longer than ropes do. I have a lot of ropes, and also when I was using rubber bungee cords, they would wear through. And they break at the worst times. They break in the winter when you had a foot of snow on the roof.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got to dig up my off-center fed antenna. It's upstairs or it's out in the garage somewhere. I know I've seen them, but I just need to figure out which box I threw it in.
All right, guys. All right, you saw the element. Not element, but the what I call it, the stacking rods or stacking bars. I was gonna try to use this as an element in my 220 antenna I was gonna build, but I didn't have enough of these. This would have been perfect, man. They're made with a little indentation here in the center, and you can put a screw right through it, right on the boom, So what I did instead, let me get it right here. What I did instead was I just took a piece of PVC pipe, and I don't know if you can see these or not, but these elements here are actually 1/8 inch aluminum welding rods, and I think I got these at Harbor Freight if I'm not mistaken. But they're 1/8 inch welding rods. They weren't too much. They're aluminum. They were pretty cheap, and so there's a lot of yagi construction articles on the web to build. So I decided to build this little 6-element, 6-element yagi here. I could have made a 13-element yagi if I wanted to, but the boom would have been about 12 or 13 feet long. So I'm going to put this up in my attic and aim it at the 2-meter repeater. Now, right now up in the attic, I've just got a ground plane for 220, a little homemade ground plane, the wires with the SO239. And it works pretty good, but sometimes, I don't know if it's conditions or what, but I'm noisy into the repeater. But I connected this to the rig down here on the bottom floor. Now, the ground plane is up 3 floors. It's up in the attic 3 floors high. But I connected this down here in the shack and put it on the radio, and I can null out the repeater. I can bring the repeater in full quieting, man. And so it turned out really, it's working really well. So I'm going to put this up in the attic, and at that height, at probably 30 or 35 feet, it should do really good. So let me show you what we did here. Now, I didn't have enough welding rods to finish it, and one of my choices was to use 3/8 rods like this and use the TV stacking bars and cut them to make the right elements, but I didn't have enough of these. Actually, I didn't have enough welding rods, so if you look here on the end, you probably can't see it. There it is. Okay. The silver one, silver welding, aluminum welding rods. This one, clothes hanger for the first director. So, if you wanted to, you could build the entire antenna out of using wire from a clothes hanger. It's very stiff, it holds its shape. I just drill the holes here. And then they fit actually pretty tight, but I went ahead and put some glue, some hot glue around each element there. I got a couple pictures here I'll show you real quick on the construction there. It did check out 50 ohms. It is a dipole, but it did check out 50 ohms. And the way they got to 50 ohms is that fourth director. By moving that director in and out from that driven element, they were able to establish 50 ohms. So it came out with a very, very nice match. I'm very happy with it. I've got some pictures here of when I constructed it. Let me just bring up the pictures real quick. And there it is out in the shop right there. You can see it. Well, that looks like that may be a finished version of it right there. So, once we put the elements through the PVC, I did hot glue them in. Now, how did I hook the coax up to the driven element? Because you can see the driven element is the second one from the left. The back one is a reflector, and then a driven element. Again, you can see the closeness of 1, 2, 3. The fourth director is close to the driven element. That's what helps set the impedance. Yes, how did I connect the coax to the aluminum welding rods? Of course, you can't really solder to aluminum. At least I haven't had much luck. Maybe you guys know how to do it. But what I did, so I took a coupling, a PVC coupling. I took a PVC coupling to bring the elements in, and I put some little terminal blocks on each side, and the coax actually screws in under those screws. Let's see if I got better pictures of that. There's a driven element again. Let's see. You can get this at Lowe's. These are just some kind of little equipment blocks. I don't know what you call them. Brett, you may know. You put a wire in there and you tighten the screw down, right? So I just took the guts out of one of them like that, and you can see there I put it on each of the elements to tighten down on each element. And I was able to
call that a binding post.
Yeah, I was able to solder to those. So that's how I'm connecting the coax to the dipole driven element there. Again, here's first you can see I started laying out my welding rods. I laid out the stacking bars to see what I was going to use. Now, depending on which plans you use, the diameter of the elements will make a difference in gain and so forth. There are plans out there using 3/8 diameter elements, which are what those stacking bars are. And there were plans for using 1/8 inch elements, and the welding rods there are 1/8 inch. So that's what I used right there.
Have you ever tried measuring tapes?
Measuring tapes? You mean like a tape measure?
Yeah, a tape measure.
Yeah. In fact, we've shown that on the show a number of times. I've got several antennas we built with the tape measure antenna.
Mm-hmm.
So there it is. We're laying it out right there. Just one precaution, guys. When you drill your holes through there, you got to be careful, because if you just think you're sticking the holes through there and they're all going to line up, they're not going to line up right. It's going to look like a porcupine when you get through. So I actually marked a line all the way down that PVC pipe, and tried to go in exactly straight in from the top down, and then most all my elements lined up almost exact. I had a one or two that's off just a little bit, but a little bending will take care of that. There it is, just laying out again, just the elements laying across the PVC pipe right there. To kind of get a look. If you notice on the very right end, I've got two welding rods there, and I could have used that aluminum welding rod for the first driven element instead of a clothes hanger, but I would have had to have used a coupling like the couplings that I showed here. I'd had to use a coupling like that to put them together. So I decided, instead of just trying to couple that together, let me just put a straight rod, all the way through. So there they are, and there's the stacking rod. So that's my story on that antenna, and I'm sticking to it. All right, hey guys, we'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away. Upgrade your station with one of ICOM's fabulous HF radios. With the IC7610, faint signals are no longer challenging for DXers or contesters. The high-performance RMDR can pick out the faintest signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. This is the SDR every ham wants. With ICOM's IC905 Mobile, VHF contesting is a breeze. This is an all-mode rig covering 5 bands with one radio. 2 meters, 70 centimeters, 1.2 gigs, 2.4 gigs, 5.6 gig, and with the optional CX10G transceiver, it will also cover 10 gigs. This radio features a large touchscreen with real-time, high-speed spectrum scope and waterfall display, easy D-Star settings, and a separate controller and RF module configuration to reduce signal loss. Explore the world of microwave with the IC905. For more information on ICOM radios or dealer locations, go to icomamerica.com/amateur. Okay guys, we are back, and guess what? The phone system is working. I'm going to blame it on Glenn. I don't know how I can blame it on Glenn, but I am going to blame it on Glenn.
Well, I think the cat's mad at me, so they may have done it. I yelled at them and they ran out of the room.
The problem was I was hitting the wrong button on the phone system. That's what, So once I hit the right button, it works. So I'm going to bring up the phone line here. Bill, if you want to join us, you can come on in here with us. Or anybody wants to join us, please join the meeting. Join the meeting. Let's see. Okay. Let me get the phone number up there again. And I'm going to give you the phone number for everybody out there. Get you a pencil. If you're listening on shortwave, get a pencil and write this down. All right. Everybody had time to get a pencil? I think so. All right, here's the number. The number is 716-427-1083. I'll repeat the number, 716-427-1083. And once it answers, you'll have to enter a code. The code is 407051. I'll say pound sign or hash, whatever you want to call that. 407051. Pound sign. And you can join us here. And we got Bill Brown already here. Let's
Cool.
Let's see if we can get Bill in here. Let's see. Let me turn the phone line up. We got Bill Brown already here. Oh, let's
cool.
Let's see if we can get Bill in here.
Hey.
Let's see. Wait, I gotta stop the feedback. Let me turn the phone line up. We got Bill Brown already here. Oh, let's
cool.
Let's see if we can get Bill in here.
Hey.
Let's see. Wait, I gotta stop the feedback. All right. Boy, I hope I didn't have that feedback on the whole time. Hey, Bill, you there?
On the phone.
You there, Bill?
I hear you, but you're very distorted.
Very distorted. Okay, I can fix that. Stand by. Stand by.
You're overdriven.
Yeah, stand by.
Okay.
I don't know why Windows.
It's very distorted.
Yeah, I know. I can fix it. Windows is not cooperating, but hang on.
I think the last time I tried phoning in, I had the same issue.
I can fix it. I can fix it. All right, Bill, is that any better? Wait a minute. Bill, is that any better?
No, not really. You're still very distorted. I can hear you here on the show.
Wait a minute.
But if I bring up the volume too much, I'll get feedback. Are you hearing me okay?
All right. So, Bill,
Hey, now I hear you.
are you hearing me
I don't know
okay,
what
Bill?
you did. Yeah, yeah.
Let me see if I can adjust your volume up a little. Say something.
Okay. Say something.
Yeah.
Hello, world.
Okay. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, I hear you. You're a little weak, but not too bad.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm hearing you good now.
Okay. It's Windows will not keep the settings. Every time I use this, it just I have to go back in and change the sound settings. Anyway,
Wow.
I'll call Windows tomorrow and tell him about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, call Bill Gates
I'll call Bill.
on his home number.
But I may text him tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm still having issues with trying to watch the show on Chrome. It works good on Firefox, but it's giving me video restricted messages on Chrome, and I still haven't found where in Chrome to reset that. Chrome just updated the other day, and I'm sure they.
Yeah, I put you a link in chat that might get you there, Bill.
Oh, okay. I'll take a look.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
All right. Let's see if anybody else is joining here real quick. Of course, we just got Bill in here. Let's see. Okay, Bill, you're the only one in here. So, all right. So, have you got your Chiquito trackers yet, or did I get mine first?
Oh no, I've had them for quite some time.
Oh, have you?
I've got 10 of them here I built up, and it is very easy. You just send the files that he shows on his website to that JLC PCB, and you'll get completed boards back within a week from China, and they do a fine job. And soldering it to the Raspberry Pi Pico is pretty easy. I set up a little jig to align it the way he shows on his using a breadboard.
Yeah.
And it was pretty easy to solder onto it. I've tested it. I haven't flown one yet because it uses the U4B format of telemetry, and I'd rather have it than using mine, but I don't see that its software is open source, so I'd have to rewrite software to use it
Yeah.
for that. So, but I haven't actually flown one yet.
I thought it's very unique. It's very well laid out. It's pretty simple. I don't
It's
like.
pretty cool because
Yeah.
being able to program it right off of your computer without any kind of a programmer, just hook a serial port up and attach it to the board, and then from his website, there's it uses a web serial interface to download the program.
Yeah.
So it is pretty cool. There is a link at the bottom of his webpage, however, if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, and there is a UF2 file, which you can download the code to the Raspberry Pi that way.
Well, that's what, Bill, that's what I read. In fact, I downloaded the U2F or
UF2.
UF2. I downloaded that, and the instructions said drag that over to the tracker.
Yeah, that should work, but you can also just program it right off of the webpage. So it is a pretty cool system.
So let me
I
ask
had
you.
him.
You're probably not seeing the picture. I've got a picture of the Raspberry Pi Pico up here. Have you broken off the bottom 1/3 of that board yet?
Oh no, I didn't bother because it's not worth going to the effort to do that.
Well,
but yeah, you
might
could do that to save weight
you
if
might
you
gain 1 gram. I don't know. I was afraid to cut it or break it off, but it looks like those are just probably just inputs that go up to that chip that aren't being used.
Yeah, just digital I/O lines.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
there's a number of I/O and ADC and probably SPI or I2C lines that as you can see from the PC board, it looks like it just goes right to the pins from the processor. But
So-
I don't think it would be worth chopping it off because you could screw up something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was worried
But,
about it. I was worried if I cut that through the air, am I going to short anything out or, cause
Right.
a problem?
Well, plus how
But, I
tall
got
is
mine
that
to work
GPS
the
underneath?
very first time I soldered it up. I got the boards from China. I soldered it up, programmed it off the website, and it operated the first time I powered it up. And it's a nice little, if nothing else, it's a nice whisper beacon you can put on the air. Right, hook it up to an outside antenna, and you've got yourself a nice little whisper beacon.
Yeah, Glenn, you can cut that board off before you solder the two boards together, and that GPS will just be hanging below it there. So hey Bill, yeah, I guys, I gave Bill a terrible problem. I'm having trouble calibrating voltage on the tracker, and Bill, the voltage divider, the numbers are right on, man. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I'm going to run some code later tonight and just try different values and make sure that it works properly. So I've got the code isolated. I've run into this problem, and I don't know if you've noticed this, Glenn, with Arduino code, and Tom with your current code. I was running Windows 7 and Windows 8 for the longest time, and using that for my Arduino main programming system. When I upgraded to Windows 10 and Windows 11, here's what happens. It says it bloats the code to the point where it won't fit on my processor anymore. It says code too large. And that's only when I compile it on Windows 10. If I go take the same code, Arduino code, and I compile it on Windows 7 or Windows 8 with the same version of Arduino in mind you, I'm using 1.8.9, it fits. It's a lot smaller code than when you compile it using Windows 10. The only difference is the Windows operating system. I don't know if you've ever encountered that, Glenn.
No, because I've not
Try
generally used Windows 10 or 11 yet. That kind of says the IDE is just generating a ton of extra code because of the Windows 10 and 11 support.
And that's exactly right. And it's very frustrating when I've got working code that was working on Windows 7 and 8, and when I upgraded to 10, now it won't fit. I mean, it greatly expanded it.
Yeah, it's like when they went up with that 1.8 version and took it up to, ported it up to 10 and 11, they didn't optimize it or anything. Yeah, I stayed on the lower versions of the IDE forever for reasons like that, as the code seemed to be much smaller.
Right, right.
But I'm going to be having to go up to Windows 11 this time around, so yeah, I'm going to run into that.
Well, Tom, I've been running the code you sent me. I can't compile that on Windows 10. It's too large.
Well,
That micro code for your tracker.
it compiles on my Windows 10.
It says it's too large.
I'm loading in different trackers all the time here, just
Can I make a
compiling.
recommendation?
Huh?
Try running the IDE or the compiler in one of the compatibility modes of Windows and set it for an earlier version.
There's a thought.
That is a good thought.
Yeah, it may have
You can do that one click from the desktop icon.
it may have something to do with the programmer. I don't know. You know, Bill, I haven't programmed one in about a year, so I took my little Spark Fun pocket programmer that I used all the time, and it wouldn't work. Wouldn't work at all. And we looked at that and just did everything we could. We couldn't make it work. So I thought, well, it's gone bad. So I pulled out one of those little green, cheap Chinese AVR, USB, ASP programmers that gave me so much trouble in the early days. I plugged that in, and it worked fine.
Yep.
And then I went back. I went back later. I went back later and put in the. I put in the Spark Fun. Yeah.
Right.
I put that back in. Changed the configuration about 100 times. Stood against the wall 3 or 4 times, and it started working. Now, hey, Bill. One of the things would it be because I'm running at 328 PB? Will that make it not compile?
Well, no. The problem is it compiles okay. It's just that it's too large.
Oh, okay.
It expands the code too large to fit in the and it's simply the difference between running it on Windows 7 or 8 versus Windows 10. Now, Glenn, I understand. I heard a rumor that you upgraded a computer to Windows 10.
I am actually running a brand new Windows 11 system that I bought for this purpose.
Well,
He's on 11.
do me a favor and run compile a program on Windows 7 or 8 if you still have an old computer that does that, and then run the same program on the same IDE version on Windows 11 and see if there's a difference in the size of the Arduino file.
All right, let's see.
And I'll look at I never paid attention to it, but I guess it tells you at the bottom there how many bits or bytes, right?
Right.
Yeah. I can look at mine, Bill, and let you know what my Windows 10 is showing.
Right.
Yeah. You guys probably know a lot more about this than I do, but I started using last year, and it's an add-on called Minicore. Are you familiar with that?
No? What's it called?
Well, there's a deal called Minicore, and somehow it runs on your AVR USB programmer, and it allows you to program chips that normally you didn't. Before we always used the 328. What was it? 328P. Well, see, I didn't have a selection. I didn't have a selection for the 328PB. But by running Minicore, you can set it up, and it has all the different variants in there that you can select from. It's called Minicore.
Okay, yeah. Or you can enter them by hand, but it's a bit of a pain. You have to know what all to set up for it.
Yeah.
Hey, I did have a question I posted in chat. Brett mentioned the KP value of their possible auroras and solar activity being at a peak. We had a beautiful display of the Northern Lights in May here that covered. I could look south from Alabama and see a beautiful visual display of the Northern Lights. And I was up in Maine a couple of weeks ago, and we had a weak display of the Northern Lights. It was about a KP 4.5. But how many of you have tried working, when there is an auroral display, working aurora on 2 meter or 6 meter and sideband or CW, or has anybody tried working digital modes on aurora? Brett, you're more situated a little closer to it than we are. Have you ever tried that?
I'm a little closer, but I'm still not quite. I'm in southern Wyoming, and up in northern Wyoming is where you start getting aurora when the when your KP level is about 6 or so. We have to have it at about 7 or 8 before you really see any aurora. So I haven't tried bouncing 2 meters off it. Maybe I should try. Maybe try to get on one of the regional SSB 2 meter nets and see if I can get anywhere. But because I haven't been able to see the aurora, I haven't tried it.
I used to work it a lot when I lived in Ohio, and it sounds like somebody's whispering because your voice is all distorted from the aurora, bouncing off the aurora. But you can make thousands of mile, 1,000-mile or more contacts with it. Morse code kind of sounds like a station. If you remember the old Bulgarian transmitters that sound real raspy when they transmitted because they had power supply issues, but it's a real raspy CW. It sounds, very raspy, and the voice sounds like a whisper. It's really cool stuff, though.
Hey, Bill, I have your answer.
Yes.
Using this is version 1.6.5. That doesn't matter. Hang on. I used the wrong version. Let's see if I've got the later model. I know I've got it. Should have it. Let's put it that way. Let's see if I can find it here.
I will say, Brett, it has to be about a KP9 or better for us to see it down here in Alabama, but we can see it here in Alabama.
During in April and May, there were storms that were visible in Alabama, and sometimes it will happen at lower KP levels, but only if you're very lucky.
Right, very brief. This covered the entire sky, and it was just absolutely vivid. It was just like being at the ones you see in Alaska down here at that time.
One of these days, I don't like cruise ships much, but one of these days I think I'm going to go on one during a period of high solar activity just to watch the aurora.
That could be fun.
Yeah, there are a lot of cruises that go up the west coast to Alaska.
Apparently,
Now,
I don't
Tom,
have that
how are you doing
IDE
on
on
your
this.
moon bounce project.
Oh, Brett, man, I love cruises. We've been on a number of them, and I love to eat the free ice cream, man.
You can gain a lot of weight on most
I
cruises.
don't know, man. That ship is probably 4 or 5 times bigger than the whole town I grew up in. In fact, we're going on a cruise here next month.
Yeah, Bill, I don't have the same version of the IDE on the two systems. So I'll have to check a different way
let
here.
me know how that turns out. I'll be very curious.
Yeah, I've got the 1.8.19 on my other system that's running, I believe it's Windows 8, but I'll have to double check and I can compare the two. I don't think I've got it on 7, but I can go ahead. I can install it on my old 7 machine and see. Because I'm hoping to stay
Great,
on
thanks
this
for doing
11
that,
system.
Glenn. That would be a good data point.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Bill, I just went to. I'm trying to monitor the show on different social medias. I just went to our site W5KB and the video pops up. All right, is that where you said you were getting an error?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Chrome setting that's restricting it because Chrome updated on my computer and it started doing that right afterwards. It just says it's restricted and can't be viewed.
Well,
but when I go to Firefox, it works.
I wouldn't put it past YouTube or somebody. They're always messing things up, to tell you the truth. But sometimes when we bring it up, they don't allow embedding. I have to go into their dashboard and turn embedding back on and so forth. But it is on tonight as far as what I'm able to monitor from here by going to that site. So it looks like we're on all social media tonight. I wish I could tell how many people, if anybody was watching on YouTube. There's not a number that I see that tells me. I don't think. It looks like 8 million. 8 million people. No, that's 8 minutes. Okay. I don't know, man.
No, that was 80 million a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that older version on this machine here because apparently I don't have it downloaded on anywhere.
So I've got Glenn occupied with the project now.
Yeah. And I've got you occupied with a project.
Yeah, so now we got to occupy Brett with a project.
Yeah.
Well, I'm occupied with quite a few projects, but what do you have in mind?
Hey, wait a minute now. Wasn't tonight the city council night that you were supposed to go to, Brett?
I did, and they were talking about parking, and they did something good. I had been suggesting for a long time that they initiate plans to build a parking garage in downtown Laramie, Wyoming, because they're desperate. The downtown is desperately in need of more parking. And guess what? Tonight they brought in a finance expert and they started actually talking about it. So whether or not I get elected to the council, maybe I actually did some good.
There you
that's
go.
Cool, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
Is it going to be free parking or paid parking?
I think it's going to be a combination of the two. To finance the thing, I think they're going to let you rent a space long term.
Ooh.
Otherwise, you can park there for a while.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So it's like I said, sometimes you don't know if you make a difference. But when you're campaigning and one of your campaign points is, well, gee, let's build a parking garage, people take notice, whether they're running against you or not. They notice that people are responding positively to that. So whether or not I get voted in, maybe I've done something good here.
There you go. That'd be cool.
Well, if you get voted in, you're going to have to move the meeting from Tuesday night to a different night.
Yeah. I've recommended for a while that they not meet on Tuesday. There's about 3 or 4 meetings that I'm, even besides this webcast that I'm invited to every Tuesday, and I have to catch up on them later because I can't be everywhere at once.
Yeah. Well, we're in 4 places right now. We're on X, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch TV, and YouTube.
That's cool.
All right, what else we got going, guys? It's about 9:30.
I'm installing the new IDE right now.
Okay, well, let's just see what.
So I should be able to compile and get us some numbers here in a minute.
Yeah, I got a pop-up. I think that there's an update on the IDE for me, and I did not take the update earlier. I kind of don't like updates. In fact, firmware for radios,
Tom,
I usually don't do firmware upgrades.
Tom, as I mentioned in the chat room, new and improved rarely are.
Right.
Well, let's see. I'm looking ahead at coming events, and it looks as if on the 6th of October, there's going to be Bark Fest in Longmont, Colorado. For those of you out here with me in the Rocky Mountain region, and then on the 18th of October, then there will be Pacificon on the West Coast. So a lot of West Coast hams are going to be there. That I understand. I have not been. I understand that that's a really, really fun ham fest. Lasts for several days and has a lot going on. all of the Silicon Valley people, and of course it's held right in the backyard of Ellicraft, so they're probably going to have a big presence there.
Cool.
So that's what I see coming up.
I think our next one here is Crowley's Ridge. I think that's in October or November. It's a small one, though.
All right. Well, nobody else is getting brave enough to join us. Guys, if you want to, give us a call, 716-427-1083, code 407051, pound. Or is it hash? What is it? Is it pound or
I call
hash?
it a pound sign.
Pound sign?
That's what I call it.
I mean, you're old.
And this comes as a surprise in what way?
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn, you got a cat coming over to help you program.
Yeah. He's a mess. That's all I can say. He's a total mess. He knows that the show's supposed to be ending soon. So it's like, come feed me, come play with
Now
me.
it's my time.
Well, I don't have the room set up for them yet.
Oh, I found a picture. I was looking for, Glenn.
What's that?
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
How you like that?
Yep, that's pretty much the size of my beast.
Oh,
Next time he comes in
I
here.
don't know, man. That one right there looks like it weighs about 140.
Yeah. Next time he comes in here, I'll catch him and hold him up.
Look at that. Gee.
Good exercise.
Yes. You definitely get your weightlifting done.
All right. Does anybody know how to find the number of viewers that we had on Facebook? I can't find it. People are mentioning the numbers on YouTube, and yeah, I do see the numbers on YouTube. But I need the numbers on Twitch. I don't think it's even, let's say Twitch. I'm back on Twitch. I can see the number on X. I don't think anybody's watching on Twitch. Let's see what X looks like.
See if I can't get the demon in here.
Yeah. I guess the only other news item that I can think of that might be of interest is that Hurricane Helene is headed for Florida and probably going to hit there on Thursday.
Yeah.
And it's going through the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico and getting stronger all the way. And they say it's going to be Category 2 or Category 3 at least when it hits.
Yeah, I've been watching that the last day or so. It looks like it's moved a little more east. It's going to typically go through Florida there, but what I'm seeing is going to make a curve up through Georgia. It's going to kind of make a curve back to the west. We may get a little bit. I don't think it's going to quite. I think it's going to come as far as maybe Nashville. I don't think it's going to come back totally west enough to hit Memphis, or I think
What that means is we're going to get hit here in Huntsville.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
I think
friend
we're
in
gonna
Orlando says it keeps moving and targeting her place.
Yeah, I think we'll get probably some storms or rain from it. I'm not sure how.
Now, I have a balloon that just went over southern Florida yesterday, and it had a choice to go straight south into the storm or east to get around it, and it went off to the Bahamas, and it looks like it's circling around to the outer ridges of the storm, and it's being swirled around, and it's possibly, if it doesn't get hit by some of the numerous big thunderstorms, it's supposed to go to Venezuela and Peru. So it's going straight south.
What
Wow.
kind of
So,
altitude? What kind of altitude you got there?
I'm at right about 40,000 feet. It's W4, Charlie, Quebec Delta -2, Athens State University here in Athens, Alabama. I launched it for them. It's on 10-meter whisper, and we're getting reports all over Europe every day and over the United States. It's really, 10 meters has been super hot lately. And I'm running 12 milliwatts on one of the new SI 5351 chips, like the Traquito uses and your tracker uses. And it's nice on 10 meters. The wire is only 8 foot 7 inches on each side, so it's a lot easier to launch the thing. The nice thing about it, well, the first one I did for them ended up in their tree, so now we have they have a beacon on 15 meters, because I did a 15-meter one for them, and it's sitting in their tree, and they're getting good coverage every day when the sun hits it just right. Their call sign was W4CQD. Does anybody know the history of CQD?
Oh, gosh.
CQD, I don't know, is that some kind of distress call or something?
Yeah, that's what it was used before SOS.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's what the Titanic sent, because there was no SOS back then. So that's when the Titanic was sinking, they sent out CQD, CQ distress.
All right,
SOS
here we go. You
came
want to compare,
later.
Tom?
Yeah, let
And
me get you
speaking
here,
of
Glenn. Let me get you here.
SOS, Glenn, are you
Yeah.
sure you are allowed to lift that much?
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, there, let me see if I can figure out how to get Glenn in here full. I've got to do some work on this. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work.
I
That ain't
think
gonna work.
that rivals that picture you showed, Tom, of that guy with the cat. I think that's
All right. Now,
that's even
let's
bigger.
take a vote. Let's take a vote in the chat room. That cat, that Glenn's looks small. It looks small, guys. Okay, let's take a vote in the chat room. Let's take a vote in the chat room.
It's
Is
bigger.
Glenn's?
It's
Is
bigger.
Glenn's?
Well, he's not stretched.
Here we go. Look at this
Don't
one.
stretch.
Look at this one right here. This one has to weigh at least 150 to 180 pounds right there, at least. All right, now let's go to Glenn. Let's go back to Glenn. Let me see if I can find him here. Let's see. Glenn, where are you?
You've
Glenn?
lost me.
No, I don't know, man. See, Glenn, your cat's head looks smaller than your head, okay? It looks smaller than your head. Now, this cat, this head here looks like 3 times the size of the guy's head that's holding him.
I think a lot of that is perspective.
Yeah, I think so too.
So that I've got a picture of me with the other one that looks very similar to that. And the reason she looks huge is because she's about a foot closer to the camera than I am.
Yeah.
But either way, you can see my guys on the large side there.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least we personally know that one, and we don't the one in the picture, you know. I mean,
Yeah,
Was that Rodan or Godzilla?
that was Sasquatch.
oh.
That's the new guy.
Oh my goodness.
I adopted him back in like September, August of last year, or no, maybe it was spring of this year.
So, hey, Glenn, what do you do, man? You put on some kind of invisible cloak or something there?
Yeah, I'm over on the other computer
Oh, okay.
compiling, getting ready to compile for Bill.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I'll have the numbers here in just a minute because it's just now loading.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Windows 7 system is not the fastest in the world. That's one thing I've noticed with the Windows 11. It is substantially faster. Okay. Here we go. All right, let's see if I did not do the AVR board upgrade for Windows 7, so that may affect this. but I want to get us a number quickly.
Well, I know my Windows 10 is kind of slow to compile and upload, but on a different computer, man, it is just lightning fast.
Yeah, I probably need to upgrade the AVR boards file, but I'm going to go ahead and get a number first and then do the upgrade. 18008.
Brett, are any of your towers like this one?
Not if I can help it. I do have one
So
with,
it looks like
with a rusted
the
bolt
tower,
or
the
two that
coax
I've got
is
in
supporting
place.
that leg of the tower, right?
Yeah. Yeah, all I gotta do is put a couple stainless steel hose clamps around here and he's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is okay.
And it doesn't make me feel comfortable when the hard line is holding up the tower.
All right. Well, we got some funnies here. We'll go through hey, Glenn, just yell at us when you get that number. But
Okay.
we're gonna look at some funnies here, just while we're waiting on that. So, you know, we're all electrical gurus here. Some a little bit better than others. You know, 20 looks like 22 long rifle. It's a good good fuse. Has anybody ever done
The
this? Has
the
anybody?
nice thing is, Tom,
Yeah, what was that?
that gives you an audio report.
Yeah, it gives you an
when
audio
there's
indication. All right, has anybody ever done this? Not especially on your 110 mains, but you know, on just anything. Have you ever tapped into a wire like that? I have to admit, yeah, I have.
I like that. That's very innovative.
That's pretty. A little bit of tape there. I think that'd been fine, man. You know. So.
You can hide that with some electrical tape, and you'd be good to go.
Yep. That would be a good one there. Let's see. What about this one? Yeah, I don't know about charging with that. Let's see. Oh, that's cool. Now, he's using tie wraps, but that will work. I would have actually kind of interwoven the different strands. I would have kind of pushed them together and done it instead of just butt them side by side there. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, that's cool. You stick the wire in a hole and then you stick a piece of wood in there to hold it. Now that's a good idea right there.
That'll work.
That will work. And see, the wood is also, insulator. Now, if you ever had, let me tell you, this will work. I guarantee you. If you have a breaker that is tripping all the time, this will stop that breaker from tripping all the time right here.
That's why there's a hole in there, right?
Yeah. All right, what we got? I'm trying to figure out what we got. What we got here, man? I would have turned the downspout, I think, a little bit the other way. What do you think?
That's how you turn on the juice.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Now, hey, this guy here, who is this guy? Is that like maybe a camera or something? It looks like a Cat 5 cable. Well, I don't know. It's a lot of wires.
That's pretty good moisture protection. I like that.
Yeah, that's not bad at all there. Of course, we've all seen this. Actually, that's kind of what it looks like behind my desk right now. Now,
Tom, you know what that is?
What was that?
That's a Cat 5 storm.
Yep, that's a Category 5 storm. Now,
There you go.
I bet you everybody out here has always lost their 10 millimeter. The 10 millimeter is the one that always disappears. And we found them. We found the 10 millimeter. Now, if you don't have
Would that be a
10,
10,000 amp?
yeah, if you don't have 10 millimeter, you can actually use some wire to snap in here. That's pretty good. And look, he's got them color coded: black, red, blue. That's pretty cool. And let's see. Oh, here's some more audible fuses right here. Looks like
Well,
looks like
when that one blows, it'll really blow.
looks like they're holding up pretty good, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
We may have a look at that guy in the water. I didn't see him earlier. I thought the water was just getting high on those transformers or whatever those things are. They're not transformers. I think they're inductors, maybe capacitors. But anyway, look at him out in the water, man. Gee.
At least he's got an insulated pole, right?
Yeah, but what if that pole's wet? What if he laid that pole down and it's kind of got moisture all up and down? I don't know, man. Oh man. This one's a little sloppy. It's a little sloppy. I don't like the way he did this. Yeah, just don't like it. Don't like it. Now, this is not a bad idea. You know, everybody's got a few, jumper cables laying around. This is it makes things easier to hook up and disconnect. And look, I think the handles are somewhat insulated, so that's not bad.
I think it makes your power cheaper too, because I don't see a meter.
Yeah. Somebody said the guy had rubber boots on in the other. Now this is interesting. We've got like a European plug here and a U.S. socket, so this is ingenious. Look at that.
So that's what you do.
Well,
Plug
you
in
get
the
enough
US,
resistance in there to modify from 110 to 220.
Yeah, that's pretty ingenious. Now, this is cool. You run your cables through this box, and it becomes a box where you can splice to, I mean, you could run multiple things.
Nice.
You could run multiple things into there and connect. That ain't bad.
Bulbs lining up like they got.
Always be sure and hook the ground up. The earth ground is important.
Yes.
So hook that earth ground
However, that needed to be wet
up.
for better conductivity.
Yeah. What do we got here? Oh, well,
Yep. I got some numbers for you, Bill.
What are the numbers? What are the numbers real quick?
The first one I did was for an Adafruit Feather, so I had to go back and recompile for a standard 328p. Under Windows 7, this sketch used 13358. Under Windows 11, it used 12110, but the variables under Windows 7 was 260, and it was 905 under 11. So the variable size and usage may be a little sloppier under 11.
All right.
As I noticed,
That could really make a big difference right there.
yeah. So there is a definite difference between the same IDE on different OSs.
Wow. Well, Bill, you got to figure out a way to fix that. I guess.
No, I do. I always keep a program. I always keep a Windows 7 machine to do my final.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, does the IDE say that it's the same version on both machines? Or?
Yes, that's what took me so long, is I verified I had the exact same version, exact same drivers.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's purely OS differences at that point.
All right. Well, look, guys, I think we're near salt water.
You think?
Here.
Well, no, that's just an air gap lightning arrestor.
I would sand that thing down and
There you go.
I would sand that thing down and paint it. Yep. What we got here?
Nothing that duct tape couldn't fix.
Right.
I'm not sure what happened here. I don't know, man. Something happened. That don't look normal. That doesn't look normal.
Yeah, looks like.
Now, what do we got going here?
Short.
What do we got?
There's the duct tape.
we
That's the
trying to,
breaker
are we
trip.
trying to hold a button in or something? I mean, I
Yeah,
don't-
that's the breaker trip no more feature on that switch.
Huh,
Right.
yeah. Now, this is actually breaker no trip here.
Yes.
This is, yeah.
Yeah.
This
This
is
is
real
this is
breaker no
I
trip.
said you are not going to trip.
Oh, and I thought it was
Okay.
like a quartz detector or something.
Yeah. Now, Glenn, this is probably something you could use. If, you
Yeah.
know, if you run out of breadboard,
Yeah, that's cracker board.
yeah, look at that,
But
man.
the problem
Oh,
is
nice.
the pin spacing isn't quite right for an Arduino.
Really? Oh, well.
Yeah. Plus, you've only got 7 pins as an option.
Now, here's a guy here that has plastic ground rods. You can put these plastic ground rods in. It comes with a nice brass clamp here. Flexible. Conforms to rocks.
Well, yeah, those aren't going to tarnish or corrode or
yeah, no
rot.
corrosion at all. No dissimilar
Yeah.
metal.
Yeah, it's impervious to red ants. Yeah. I mean, I think that's cool.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is cool, man. You know, you might want to be charging your phone or something while you're taking a shower.
Yeah.
So you can dry yourself off.
Oh, hey, a hair dryer, right? Well, now you.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Well, you know, or if you want to make toast while you're taking a shower.
I guess so.
There you go.
I want to be toast while taking a shower.
Now, this is a cool warning sign. Opening this box will result in death by electrocution and a, what's that, 50
€50 fine.
€50 fine.
Yeah, they missed the part where it says, and it will hurt the
Yeah,
entire
right,
time.
and it will hurt while it's doing it. Of course, these guys here, they're not worried about hurting. Of course, that's not a saltwater pool, I'm sure. That's probably, you know. And, you know, water, pure water is not a conductor. You know, the guys know that. So it's just the impurities in the water that make it conduct. So
Yeah, so don't sweat and release any salt.
I don't know.
into the
I would
water.
say if you live out in the country somewhere, you have a well and you've got a high iron content, it might conduct, you know.
If you sweat in the pool, you're going to add salt.
I guess you would.
And if your feet sweat and it gets on your sandals, there you go.
Now, I'm not even sure how he got up there, but
Oh, there's lots of handholds.
yeah, a lot of
Boy,
footholds.
How do
A lot
you
of
fix
footholds.
those wires?
Yeah, a lot of footholds.
Yeah,
He can-
I don't think they cut those to length properly.
I don't know, man.
I think that's the whole issue
don't know.
there, is if
I don't
you
know.
cut them to length, you wouldn't have that mess.
No, that's much better.
Yeah,
much
see?
better organized there.
That's what happens when you cut them to length and do them right.
Uh-oh.
Aha. Yeah, that cat literally really is probably about twice the size of my big guy. But my big guy is here and real. That's all I'm going to say.
You know,
I like that one, the shower with the breaker
you know,
box.
most people might think, well, let me put that in a closet somewhere. I don't particularly like it on the outside of the house. I like it inside
Yeah.
the house. That's probably not the best place for it, right there in the shower.
No.
Well, we've already seen this one. Right here.
Well, you know, if it is in the shower and you have an issue with getting shocked, you just throw the main breaker. It's right there, convenient. Unless you got
That's
blocks
that's an
holding it up like
electricity
that.
hug.
I guess it is.
Touche,
I
yeah.
guess it is.
Now, there's a real ham solution.
Yeah. Now, you know, why buy a clothes dryer when you have an electric one right outside your
Yeah.
window there?
that works.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, and if you need turbo dry, just let those top 2 wires touch.
I had a picture. I just couldn't tell what it was.
That truly is a monster of a cat. Yeah. He's yeah, I still say, but you know, look at that cat closely. That's AI.
You think it is?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, the face and the coat.
Does it have too many fingers?
Yeah, it's got the right number of fingers, man. You know.
No, the fur around the face and the
Mhm.
whiskers, that's AI. The fur around
Right,
the belly,
right.
that's
We'll,
AI.
We'll take your word for it.
Mine's real, but that's AI.
All right, guys. Hey, let me just say good night to everybody out there listening on shortwave. Our 2-hour shortwave spot is ending. Thanks for listening on WBCQ shortwave on 7490. Send us an email, tom@w5kub.com. Let us know where in the world you are. Love to hear from you. Hit the subscribe button. Love to have you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notify button, hit all the buttons. And let's see, if you want to join us next week, we'll be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. on w5kub.com is where you can watch the show. You can also join the chat room. That's where our official chat room is. We don't use the chat room on YouTube or Twitch or any of the other places. So if you want to chat with us, you need to go to W5KUB. You can watch the show on X, on Twitch TV, Facebook, or YouTube. So I'll say good night to everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us.
See y'all next week.
7-3.